What's going on, everybody? It's your pal Burrito Johnson with another useless video. Today is August 1st, 2013. Holy jeez, this year is flown. It's flown by. Getting straight to the point, episode 2 dealt with Skyrim, which is, if you want to check it out, I'm sure it's on this site somewhere. I just talked about Skyrim for 20 minutes. I blew Skyrim pretty much. I'm like, yeah, it's the best game ever, and which systems and all that to play it on. This episode, I wanted to focus on another useless video, or it could be useful for you. Podcast. Everybody listens to podcasts. I listen to a shitload of podcasts. Countless hours I spent on the commute from work and to work. To work and from work with listen to these. So I wanted to share with you guys the podcast that I listen to, and I'm also going to share with you a couple of ones that I host as well. So maybe those will interest you or not. Let's get right to it. The Nerdist. Everybody's heard of the Nerdist. Chris Hardwick, most famously from Singled Out. Back in the mid-90s, he hosted with Jenny McCartney. He's gone from there, stand-up comedy, and then he's kind of in this mega network of the Nerdist. They're on YouTube, and the Nerdist he hosts with Jonah Ray and Matt Myra. Generally they have celebrities every week, which is pretty cool. They have like the most recent episode they had, I think dropped yesterday, was Ken Levine from the writer, creative director, and all that stuff for BioShock 1 and BioShock Infinite. He had nothing to do with the second one. So he had that, so he has celebrities. I know he had Tom Hanks at one point. Recently had Jeff Bridges on. So it's pretty cool. It's probably one of the best podcasts out there. They're funny. They're constantly having awesome guests, and they drop Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So there's always, they're very constant. They'll miss a couple days here and there, but we forgive you, Chris Hardwick. Another one I want to talk to, so that's a good one. That's definitely you want to try out first if you are debating on checking it out, because if there's a gazillion people who listen to that show. So if you're one of the few that haven't, I definitely suggest at least checking out one of their episodes. It's pretty entertaining. It keeps you busy. Another one I want to talk about was WTF Podcast with Mark Maron. Another stand-up comedian. He's been on radio forever. Back in the day, he started a podcast. He runs it out of his garage, which half like Jay Moore and all the other celebrity podcasts or whatever they do. This one, Mark Maron, in my opinion, is probably one of the better interviewers of the podcasts that are out there. He asks those tough questions. He gets into it, and he gets the celebrities or whoever he's interviewing to kind of open up a little bit more and then tell more stories and stuff like that. So, he has generally almost the same guests as like the Nerdist would, but he'll have a couple here or there, like Dick Van Dyke he had not too long ago, Mel Brooks, Hank Azaria. It varies, but they're really, really good. Another one I wanted to delve into here was for the gaming, Giant Bomb. They do Bombcast, which is every Tuesday ish. They'll drop an episode. This one is obviously giantbomb.com. For those of you who don't know, a couple of the guys who used to work at GameStop went on to do this website that does first looks on video games and stuff, do reviews obviously, and they host a podcast every Tuesday. And this one by far is my favorite, because there's other ones like IGN has one. I think Game Informer has a podcast. But they're okay, but Giant Bomb just has these veteran guys that have been in the industry for a while, and they know what they're talking about, and generally they're pretty funny, and they're very interesting. Not, some of their episodes average about 3.5 hours, but not at all. There's not a single minute where like, this is almost over. No, it's actually pretty interesting stuff. So check them out. If you're looking for a podcast that you could just leave on for a couple hours, this is the one you want to check out, because I've never seen something go under 2 hours. Giantbomb.com. Bombcast is what it's called. So Jeff, definitely give them a try. So, hopefully you're on a commute or whatever, makes it a little easier for you. I'm going to venture more into the audio dramas here. I know it's always been around. Like they've done some like mystery, audio dramas from like the 50s and stuff like that. It's always been around on iTunes and stuff like that. But they took like the zombie thing to the next level with a zombie audio drama called We're Alive. This one kind of started like a little slow. Like not like the story, but it built up an audience over time. It was a small audience, and it kind of exploded. And they're actually on the Nerdist network now. The Nerdist network has their own slew of podcasts, so you could actually find them there. But We're Alive it's been running for like 3 years or something like that. I could have been mistaken, but it's been running 2009 or 2010 around there. And I think they drop a show every 2 weeks. Season 4 is about to start up here soon, so we're getting some more content. So there's they average about 20 minutes per episode. So I think there's about there's 30 something chapters right now. So you're gonna be busy. You're gonna be busy. Especially if you're in the zombie drama, and it's pretty cool. It does get a little scary sometimes, because you'll be listening in, it'll be quiet. Also, it'll be like zombies, and the story's good, the characters are good. You start to care about these characters, and if some of these characters die and stuff like that, you're like, no. So you start to care for them. Another one, audio, kind of in the same boat a little bit, it's not a story per se, but it's Welcome to Night Vale. It's about like a radio station that takes place in this small town of Night Vale. It's Welcome to Night Vale, and it takes place in Night Vale. And it's not like a radio station, like they don't, but it's like a community announcement where like this guy comes on, is awesome, and the narrator, the announcer, is pretty cool. He'll like give updates on some weird shit that's happening, and like weird, it has to do with like aliens, the cult, this weird crap that's happening, and like when they do weather, it doesn't even give you anything about weather. It's just like a song. It's like every episode they feature like a different song. So the guy would be like, now to weather, and it'll just be like a song, and then it'll go right back to the guy announcing, PTA meetings and stuff like that in the school, and like, just in, corporal, a vortex opened in the middle of a town hall meeting, and creatures came out and started eating people. So that's some of the stuff you're gonna be experiencing. It's like a combination of like Roswell meets Twin Peaks, like that weird. It's like comedic, but weird, vibe that's going on in the show. So definitely check that out. And I run a couple of other podcasts myself. If you guys are interested, if you stumble onto this video for some reason by accident or whatever, I hosted. We completed all the episodes, but it's still up. It's on iTunes and all that stuff. It's called the Black Lodgecast. It's a companion podcast we did to accompany David Lynch's 1990 cult hit TV show Twin Peaks. A lot of people are getting into it now. I've noticed that. Back in the mid 90s, nobody even heard of Twin Peaks. It's not now in the past 2 years or so, people are discovering it, the TV show, and they're like, oh my god, this is the best TV show ever. Stars like Kyle MacLachlan, all these other David Lynch. If you're familiar with David Lynch, his characters that his usual actors that he cast. So if you've seen Twin Peaks and are thinking about diving into it again after all these years, since it's on Netflix, on Hulu, it's everywhere, check out our companion podcast, the blacklodgecast.com. You're going to find everything there, all the info, even on iTunes. There's going to be an iTunes link that's It's still there. So give that a listen. Another one I host is Unleash the Nerds over at unleashtherobots.com. It's a show that generally deals with just we don't just talk about video games. We talk about movies, comic books, current events. Let's say, oh hey, a geek trying to date a geek girl, kind of one of those scenarios and stuff like that. We so dealing with our everyday lives and lives and culture kind of thing. So that's every week, and that releases every Monday or so. We drop that. So unleashtherobots.com, you'll find that there. There's a iTunes and all this different. There's like a bazillion different ways you could catch our show. So that's the current podcast that I'm listening to for now until I discover other ones. I know there's tons out there. But I just don't want to be like, I listen to 19 different podcasts all at once and my brain's going to explode or something like that. So if you have any recommendations on a podcast that I need to check out, write it down in the comments, or let me know what podcast you listen to. Do you listen to Nerdist? Do you listen to are you a Giant Bob? Are you a Giant Bomb fan? Are you a Mark Maron fan? Let me know at the bottom. So that's going to do it. That's going to be another edition of Useless Video. See you next time.